LSU fired Coach Brian Kelly after the loss to Texas A&M all but ended the Tigers' playoff chances. The school is still negotiating Kelly's buyout, which right now stands at $54 million. If he gets all that, it would be the second biggest behind Jimbo Fisher's $77 million from Texas A&M. And we know LSU has really high standards, championship or bust. Look at what Nick Saban did. Look what Ed Orgeron did and Les Miles did, all winning the national title within the first 4 seasons with this team. Albeit the landscape has changed and the college football coaching market has never been more volatile, especially with one of the best jobs in the sport now open at LSU. And who better to discuss this than Marcus Spears, an LSU legend who played under Nick Saban, won a national championship there, and Peter Burns from SEC Network, a Baton Rouge, Louisiana native. So we're going to get this from both sides. And Marcus, I want you to speak from the player side of this. What kind of place is LSU?
The best place to watch a college football game and the best place to play a college football game. The support in that state. Look, it's the professional team in Louisiana, and I know the New Orleans Saints is there, but this is long lineage of football prowess, and I know everybody's proud of their colleges, the Penn States, the Michigans, the Alabamas, but if you've ever been to a game on Saturday night in Death Valley, it's the best place to play a college football game. And I think when you think about this in totality, right, and how this whole culture is set, it's really set by the guy that's the head football coach, not the governor, not the senators, not the important people in the state. The head football coach for LSU is the most important person in Louisiana. And they have to embody a lot of what that culture is, what this fan base expects. And winning is a far given gone conclusion. You have to win there. And that was established in the early 2000s. This program has not been what we see or believe it to be prior to the early 2000s. Now there's an expectation.
Yeah, and Peter, as I said, you grew up in Baton Rouge. That's the player side of it. From a fan perspective and a local perspective, what does LSU and the connectivity mean to the city and the entire state?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, you come out of the womb wearing purple and gold, as Swagoo just talked about. But, I mean, there's 4 F's. It's family, it's food, it's faith, and maybe number 1 in the state of Louisiana, it's football, right? 365 days a year, you care about those 12 different Saturdays. And I think that's why it fell apart so quickly for Brian Kelly at LSU, because LSU fans loved when Nick Saban was winning. They felt that love from Les Miles, as weird as he was eating the grass. That was his guy. And, of course, nobody loved LSU more than Ed Orgeron. And it always felt like with Brian Kelly, he liked the idea of being the head coach at LSU, but didn't love it the way that the people and the boosters and the players and the staff wanted him to love it down in the 225.
Yeah, and look, it's going to take a fit, Marcus. They're saying Brian Kelly wasn't exactly the kind of fit. So I don't necessarily need a name from you. You can give me one if you want. But what kind of coach fits at LSU?
Authentic. That's got to be the first and foremost thing. Like, I tell people all the time, man, when I decided to go to LSU in 2001, I didn't know a damn thing about Nick Saban. Had never heard his name. And we sat in meetings, and him and Jimbo Fisher, and they recruited me. And I realized that these guys were real, and they were real about what they were saying. Now, I haven't been in the building every day with Brian Kelly, but I'll give you a quick story, and I talked about this when I posted on Instagram. I went to LSU game this year in Florida, and we won that game. 5 turnovers. It was a phenomenal night in Death Valley. Great team, great win for the team, and those guys were excited about the win. And I left with everybody that I knew and was like, this place don't feel the same. There's something missing. And believe it or not, Matt B, and PB knows this, Peter Burns knows this, the head coach creates the culture. He creates the atmosphere. He creates how crazy people are going to be about those Saturdays in that stadium. And there has to be a feel that you're not only authentic, but you've embraced and become one of us. Now, that's asking a lot for somebody that's not from Louisiana or don't understand that. But the reality is at some point, and if we give you a 4-year window, your ass better figure out how to do it.
And does that, I mean, and Peter, does that mean Lane Kiffin? Is he the guy that Spears is talking about?
You know, I mean, is that going to be number 1 on the list? Perhaps. But, I mean, if I look at Lane Kiffin right now, and you guys know it right now, this is a mercenary type sport. And in a world that everybody lives in this transfer portal, if I'm Ole Miss right now and I'm Lane Kiffin, why go anywhere else? Why not stay there? You have an opportunity to build something that's never been done before. I mean, best case scenario, let's say you won a national championship at LSU. You still probably be behind Nick Saban, and you're still behind probably Ed Ogeron, who was Mr. Louisiana in that historical run back in 2019. So for me, if I sit there with Lane Kiffin, if you read kind of the tea leaves of every single tweet that he puts out there, Swagoo, it's kind of wild right now. I don't think you can put that much out there and say, hey, the grass is not greener. I love this. Oxford made me. I didn't make Oxford. Had this whole documentary about everything and then leave. I mean, that might be worse than when he left after Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't appear that Lane Kiffin, at least right now, is going anywhere, especially with a team that
may
looks like
I interject?
Please, yeah.
May I interject? The pettiness of Lane Kiffin, he would love to be known as the guy that's coached at LSU. He would love to take over all of those records and create it. And listen, to PB's point, like, you always going to have a comparison wherever Nick Saban went because he's considered the greatest. But if you Lane Kiffin and you think, I'm not making a pitch, Ole Miss, settle the hell down, okay? But if you are a coach that's going to come to LSU, your idea of this job should be, I want to be here 15, 20 years.
Yep.
I want to have a tremendous amount of success and try to establish that I was the guy at this university for the long run. That should have been Nick. He left and went to the NFL. Somebody else still has a window to do that.
That's right. That guy can come in and make it maybe the most dangerous job and dangerous team in the country. Great perspective from you guys. Peter Burns, Marcus Spears, thank you so much. College football names and jobs that have been fired thus far. We're not talking just any job. These are some of the biggest in the country, with now 3 SEC vacancies open, with Brian Kelly getting dismissed over the weekend. As we welcome in our Greg McElroy to discuss this wild season so far. And Greg, I just showed you the list of coaches getting fired already. It's not even Halloween. What do you make of all of these jobs being open so soon?
Well, it's crazy, Matt, but it's kind of a sign of the times. It's really 2 transformative forces in play here. One, the expansion of the college football playoff to 12 teams. Now everybody's like, oh, we surely, worst case scenario, we make the playoff. No, it's harder than I think people realize. It's very dependent on schedule. With these bloated conferences, not all schedules are created equal. So that's number one. And 2 is the revenue sharing model. No longer are we seeing the wait and see approach, the 5-year rebuild plan. When the boosters and the alumni go all in, like they did at Penn State and LSU this past offseason, and the results aren't what they expect, all of a sudden it's the coach that has to go. So I think those are the 2 keys to why we're at the spot that we're at, with many more to come, it feels like, in the weeks to come.
Yeah, there you go. We're not even at the beginning of what's going to be the craziest offseason perhaps in the sports history. So having said all that, who fits at LSU?
The entire marketplace is revolving around one person right now, and that's Lane Kiffin. And he's the consensus #1 target for everybody. LSU, Florida, I bet Penn State might even try. He's established a proven, portal-fueled, top 10 program in the Southeastern Conference. And while things right now at Ole Miss are really good, he has listened to overtures in the past. And he decided at the 11th hour, you know what? I'm not going to mess with Happy. I got a good thing going right now. His annual salary also is over $9 million, and his buyout is also in some ways prohibitive as well. But everybody is going after Lane Kiffin, and there are some that believe that why things were looking pretty good for Brian Kelly at LSU for a moment, they acted because they want Lane Kiffin, and they don't want him to end up at Florida, who's one of their bigger rivals.
And can you imagine if either of these schools get him and he just stays at Ole Miss, then what? This thing is going to turn into absolute chaos, and I can't wait to see it happen. Let's get on the field for a minute. The games, Vanderbilt, another chance to make a statement on the road at Texas. We know Art's questionable. He's in concussion protocol. So how does Vandy magic continue again this week, albeit on the road?
Well, it really starts with their defense, and it starts with getting into the backfield. Right now, you look at their defensive rankings, top 25 in pressure, top 20 in run defense, top 25 in negative plays created. This is a veteran and disruptive unit that has generated 21 sacks as a team, and they're going against Texas's biggest vulnerability. While they have a lot of preseason hype and a lot of 5-star players, the offensive line for Texas has been a big liability. They're allowing pressure on 40% of the dropbacks. That's 114th. They have 76 plays that have gone for 0 or negative yards. That's 121st. They have got to be better along the offensive line to avoid obvious third and long situations. And in the event in which Arch Manning can't go, and his mobility is a big part of what's made their offense somewhat palatable at times this year, if they have to go with Matthew Caldwell, a little bit less mobile option at quarterback, so that could have an impact as well. So the O-line for Texas has to play great against a really good Vandy defensive front.
And as each week goes on and Vanderbilt stays in the picture, we are this close to having one of the great turnarounds in college football history if we haven't already. I'm going to brag on my guy McElroy for a minute, former quarterback at Alabama, former quarterback in the NFL. His pocket presence is amazing. I found the one thing that can bring him down today, an earpiece cord. Look at my guy McElroy trying to get up. He can't figure it out. Now watch the earpiece get him. What, Mac, come on. Be better
It's
than the
so
cord.
bad. It's so bad. That, by the way, that's like the 15th time that's happened this week. It's just, that should be SportsCenter bottom 10. My struggles with the IFB, definitely an issue.
If you want to stop McElroy, just send him an IFB. Good stuff, brother. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
See you, bud.
You want this, you got that.